Disappointing Tuesday.
I mean,
I do.
You did some cool stuff.
I do have a story, so I'll have my story time. It's an interesting story. It actually, I already, basically told it on Twitter as far as like the card that I got, but it'll be kind of a deeper, more complex background as to why that
story of a story.
Why that car has meaning and importance.
Was it a throwback plus what happened now kind of thing, or is it something else?
It's a really cool story. I think that everybody
all cars in this genre are a throwback of sorts. So,
yeah, I got a car too on Grand Theft Auto 5. Very similar.
I've got the garage on Grand Theft Auto 5.
What was the name, make, and model of that car that you have?
Vapid Dominator.
Vapid Dominator?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot like the car I got.
Yeah.
And one called a Banta, too.
Yeah, the Banta.
A Banta.
Bad Banta.
What kind of Banta did he have with him? Is it back and forth?
Yeah, it's
You
good
should,
Banta.
Is it good Banta?
You should live stream playing that game, doing what you do.
Just murdering people. Like,
He's murderizing.
the cops are watching. This is great. I love it. You
Well,
murder cops all the time.
No, it's just
Took out that cop while he's drinking his
it's just
cup.
the way you like drive, get on top of the roof and like,
Well, I have a routine for sure.
And then, get away from the police officers.
Yeah, it's easy to get away. It's
Shoot,
what
shoot,
the
run
struggle
away.
is keeping them interested sometimes. Like
That's sad.
You've caused so much death, destruction, and mayhem. They just know you from now on. It's like, oh, it's him? Oh, never mind.
And
Yeah.
there's occasions-
Hold back for a while, guys. He might burn himself out.
there's
here.
occasions that are much more intelligent than they late on. They're just like,
What
oh,
I don't
okay.
get is like, okay, so you go into the sewers and then you lose them. Like I get that, okay?
Yeah.
But when you come out of the sewers, they should be like, "Oh wait, that's that plate that we were looking for."
No, they don't care anymore.
It should like immediately come back up unless
Oh, that's what's fantastic about the game. You murder somebody in front of cops. You run away just long enough. There could be a cop like on your heels. Suddenly the stars disappear. You could drive back over and like practically slap the cop in the face and be like, "Oh, what?"
Well, I wouldn't do that.
But that's the thing. They should have it where like you have to go into the sewers, switch cars, and then you could go and lose your stars
It's a little
forever.
complicated, don't you think?
No,
Quick,
you should go in,
quick
and then
outfit
if you come
change.
out and you're in the same vehicle, all battered up with like the 9,000 holes in the car, they should be like, "That's the car we were looking for," and immediately
that's just
the
too much
stars.
common
There's
sense for
times
one
if you're
video game.
following a cop car, you're following too close, they freak out, and then they start following you. They're like, "Well, you know it's following me," or whatever. But I've
Paranoia
had it
turns
where-
back on them. Oh, what's going on
I've had
here?
where I climbed that pole and was like shocking them, with a taser for 3 stars, and they gave up on me, and I started walking down the pole again, and then all of a sudden, bring! Oh, like, okay, so you're right there, huh? Okay, that's nice.
Yeah,
Most of the time, though, pretty short-term memory. They just forget about you. Like, what was I doing again? Oh, yeah, massive multi-car chase and bunch of death and destruction.
My favorite-
Nope, back to work.
My favorite is when you were in that, I don't know what you would call it, the pole. I can't think of what they're called. It's not scaffolding, but
crane?
The crane, thank you. That you were hanging out on top of the crane and you were shooting, doing
I'm gonna readjust the camera. You guys
scoping.
keep chatting.
the scoping and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And you
sniping.
Yeah, you popped a cop sitting in his car. And then you popped his buddy. And then you jumped down, got in that car that the buddy that was sitting there got shot in, drove around.
I was driving around all casually, stole a cop car with a dead cop sitting in the passenger
Got rid of the
seat.
cops and then pulled into the police station with that dead cop in that cop car. Dropped it off.
Dropped it off. One got a different one out of impound.
Yeah. That was pretty fun. I appreciated that one.
Those two are just still sitting there at the foot of the steps, just, chatting back and forth, looking over like, hey, how's it going?
Is that Ray? Yeah, who cares?
Boy, he must be dead tired.
Yeah. Who's this friend he's got with him? He looks like a crackhead.
I didn't believe you at first when you said, hey, I've heard this. We know that there's sharks out in the deep water. We've been around them before. Let's see if we can kill one. It's like, well, it's easy. If you see one actually surface, you can shoot at it. But went ahead and hopped in the water, pulled my knife, and took a few swipes at it, and actually managed to kill a shark with just my knife.
Yeah. I've been thinking it's going to happen. It's got to happen. You just need to be patient for it to come to you.
Yeah.
It does kind of kill you after one bite. Once it gets your leg and just like, you're like,
Yeah,
I'm
once it
dead.
starts shaking, you're done.
Yeah,
But I think I got 2 before.
Yeah.
Tempted fate too much.
Yeah. Well, I think
You haven't shown me that yet. I have not seen a
Well,
shark
that was a
attack.
very rarity. He killed 2 of them, and I've never seen anybody else kill any sharks. Just like, it's not as rare as stealing
He
a
also
jet.
stole a
Stealing a jet.
what do they
is a
call
thing.
the F-16 or the F-18 in the game?
I'm not sure exactly.
They call it a vapid
I'm sure it's-
dominator.
Dominator.
I'm sure it's something they think is creative, but to other military guys probably like, that has nothing to do with what, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the automatic shotgun. That's a lot of fun.
Yep.
Welcome back. This is your man Warrior, and we have SureShot and Artisan K, and I appreciate everybody coming back. This is Warrior Wednesdays, and we, of course, are doing the usual. SureShot, how was your week?
Productive as usual.
Productive?
Try to get a lot of stuff done, lots of projects, few blown sales, but other than that, nothing too bad, nothing too major. Just kind of pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep moving.
Sale!
Yeah, you gotta dust yourself off and try again.
You open up wide in the wind and
Yeah. Fly
Yeah.
away if you want to save your life.
Anything stand out as super fun this last week?
Let me think here. No funny customer stories. No stubbing my toe. No hurting myself.
Is that it?
Yeah,
that one was that
crickets.
kind of.
Those are right.
Crickets. Yeah,
That was all right.
kind of a crickets week. Yesterday was not so good. We tried to sit down and get some filming done, and my schedule ended up getting in the way of other things, and ended up not being able to do anything yesterday. It was fun. Yeah,
But I gotta watch Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, you got to watch a little bit of murder.
Yeah.
A little bit of spraying going.
That's an interesting game.
computerized murder.
I mean, I make it more interesting than it could be when it's over. I mean, some people don't do anything with it.
I was gonna say, if
got
that
everything.
game in my hands is probably really a boring game, but that game in your hands is kind of fun to watch.
I watched people play it for a long time before I picked it up at the end of the game. And
It's when you play the campaign all the way through, it gives you so many debaucherous ideas, and then once you're all done and you have all the money, and it doesn't really matter anymore.
Darth Baca.
Yeah.
you do what you
Hello
want to
there.
do. It's nice
Hello
to have
there.
the freedom. There was talk about an everywhere kind of game that they were going to come up with where you had more
Rockstar
freedom.
had plans for a while, but then I guess the two main guys had a falling out and they split up, and no longer bed buddies or whatever. I don't know, but
That's disappointing.
I think that game either got shelved or held back. Kind of like my favorite franchise for a long time, Half-Life.
Yeah.
When they decided to start splitting it into episodes, and then they were going to give us 3 episodes, and then the third one was supposed to come out, and for some reason it didn't, and it never has, and it never will.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting game. I enjoyed it, and that's about all I really did this week. I got sunburned. Yeah.
Oh.
Try to get some vitamin D.
Where specifically did you get sunburned?
My head and
Oh,
my
we actually
back.
got a disc golf game in too. That was all right.
That hurt?
Not anymore. I think I'm at a point.
Dang it.
I think I'm at a point where I'm healed. So
I'm a good friend. I was
I
making
want to test just how
yeah.
bad that sunburn really is.
I should have mentioned something about it the other day. When our friend was at our
No, when you genuinely looked in pain, I wouldn't have done that.
your friend was at our house and or at your house, and she's all right, we'll see you later. I was like, okay, you missed my sunburn by about like 3 inches.
I was wincing for the pain already, and it didn't come. All right.
She's like, whatever. Like, okay, thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't know. I did a lot of practicing. That's how I get the sunburn, is by sitting out in the back and practicing on the basket with the frisbee golf and such. And then we go play frisbee golf, and I go right back to sucking because it's hot, and I'm not very good the first time.
You walk up on a group of like 6 or 7 people with a really mean-looking woman in the group, and they all mean mug you, and one person says hi, but they don't play any proper etiquette and don't let you play through, even though you're like kind of hanging out behind them
They
every
could be
hole.
watching. Wait, no, they're not. They're not watching. They don't care.
That's how you get an aggravated sunburn, because you're already in distress before that. Just going like, come on, guys, really?
Well, that's when you got a little bit of sunburn, but it'll turn into the tan. It'll be
Yeah, so in comments, they said if I played Vice City, I would just drive around and follow the laws. That'd be pretty funny. I'm like, excuse me. Beep, beep.
I was telling him.
Excuse me.
I am doing
Excuse
5
me.
over. Sorry.
I was
please
telling
me.
SureShot that I wasn't gonna talk to you about the game because I'm shooting cops the whole time, and you used to be a cop, and I felt like he probably wouldn't appreciate this game so much if I'm just like got him in a helicopter, and he's just sitting there cracking up like I would the first time I watched it. I'm like,
It's just a game.
it's hilarious. All right, good.
It's just a game.
Oh,
They-
well, yeah.
I-
You've
I-
never joined us on any of our real cop killing sprees, so I guess that's why.
Right. Yeah, because you guys do that all the time.
Yeah, at least once a week.
RPG.
Yeah.
But that's the more boring part of my week, which is why I never bring it up.
Yeah, when you guys shoot down helicopters in real life, it's
Yeah, it's
It's
rough.
amazing that Mesa County can keep on coming up with these
And
things.
all it costs you is $5,000 in a hospital bill
I know.
every time.
I know.
Time. Yeah.
That is some good health
Yeah.
insurance
From
right there.
death to revived, it only costs about $5,000.
You
Yeah,
were
I
just
tell ya.
wasted.
Yeah, it's true.
Wasted can mean so much.
Yeah.
So much. Yeah.
But you're back.
I was trashed. Like, oh man, wasted.
I'm blood wasted.
Yeah, and you got to see him get messed up at his lovely little abode
Yeah.
in the woods or whatever.
So I got to hang out with you guys. I got to hang out with some other friends. Got to have some dinners. Crazily enough, this last week I got to have dinner with 3 different couples in the evening time. So it was kind of some, it feels like
People are poking their heads out of the door like, oh, it's safe. We're allowed to come out now.
It almost feels like hibernation is like coming to an end or
Winter
something.
has been over for a while.
Yeah.
I know, but that's what it kind of feels like.
Always,
like hibernation is coming out, like because certain couples are like, "Hey, we kind of want to have dinner with you. Is that okay? Are you okay
Soylent
with
Green,
that?"
man.
Yeah.
Are
so
we allowed to uproot? Can we come out?
Yeah. Can we?
We did not have dinner with a bunch of couples this week.
We did. It was fun. We got to do that, and I got to finally go pick up a vehicle that'll be part of story time. There's actually a really cool story behind it. So that traces back 2 decades.
It's a Volkswagen Jetta.
Nope. It's a kind of a cool story
MG
though.
Midget.
MG midget. Yeah. Nope. And I have weird car stories, but this one actually goes and it has a really cool story to it. So we'll talk about it. It's 2 decades in the making as far as the story.
That would have been cool if you brought a
Growler.
Growler.
Yeah.
Growler.
Remember that hot rod with the big wheels on it that I was
Basically
driving
a
around?
Ferrari with a lift kit.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Drive anywhere with that thing.
That is
Not
pretty
real,
cool.
unfortunately.
So had a good week. Excited to be here and doing the live stream.
thing?
Yeah.
Doing the thing?
Back.
Yeah. Doing the thing. Guess who's back? Yeah.
Are you
We were going to do a video yesterday. Didn't end up working out because people can't.
People are strange.
Yeah, can't keep their word with you.
People don't like schedules. People don't like being held to what they ask for.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange.
Yeah, it's kind of, I was not envious of you and what you do after the last few weeks, because there's been a number of times now where people have stood you up and I'm just like, oh, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Makes me appreciate a retail environment where we have hours and people can come or go, but when we close, we close. It's like,
That's the exact reason why I like this, because I don't have to worry about people just walking up on me randomly. They have to be scheduled out.
They sometimes
so as much as
do.
it's annoying to have them. Sometimes I do, yeah.
You got a
There's
neighbor.
been 2 times I've had people show up at my house to try and buy something. One time they actually bought it. The second time it was to show up just in time to see it being sold and being loaded up in somebody's vehicle going, oh, you sold
Goodbye.
it already? But it's like, I'm looking at these people going, where did you come from? I didn't give you my address. Yeah.
I was just driving in the neighborhood. I thought, well, there's a lot of appliances.
Yeah.
well, let's get going. And
get
how
on.
is the audience?
I wish we used the crickets one of these days.
More energy than I have.
Yeah.
All right, audience is doing very, very
What
well.
about the music? You don't even have the intro music.
I know. Let's get the intro music going.
And then you have the audience. Maybe the audience with the intro. They're all laughing. They think it's funny.
Be sure to check out my hit new single.
All right,
It's called 3-chord progression.
I gotta definitely put him over here so he stops hitting buttons.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
He
What?
instantly now thinks he's the button guy.
Buttons.
They're right
He's
next
like,
to my
I
hands.
can't help it. Yeah.
Button. Who's got the button?
I'll just put a shot collar.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, give me Rango shot.
We got to figure out
Roll for
who.
newspaper. No.
Yeah. No. No. Let's figure out who gets to go first. So I guess we got to do this. The odd man out. Wow. That one, everybody kills somebody. So
Yeah.
I got you, but he's got me. He's got me, babe.
You got me.
All right, let's try it again. Are you ready? Let's try it again.
No, he's gonna want to
Try
now.
it again.
Ah, you guys both got it.
Odd man out.
I decided to change it up because I was
Clippy,
sick and tired of it.
We got you.
That's the most we've ever tried at one time before.
You guys need to work on your air banding. Yeah, I know that's right. It's not.
Yeah,
it's
I
not
didn't
very good.
even care this time.
Oh,
not
my
very
guitar was down under the desk. You didn't see it. I was just kind of
Yeah.
playing the frets up here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I look like I have Tourette's syndrome. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm not very good at the air banding.
Oh.
If that's what you call it.
Well,
That's what he
mocking it
called
too because I know the music, but I can't hear it. It's just playing in your headphones. So
Yeah.
really, if I was somewhat
had the headphones off, I
in
could hear
tune,
it.
then
That is true. They cannot hear what you guys are hearing or what I hear because I have the headphones and they don't.
Yeah.
We could plug them in and let them listen to it, but I have more fun not letting them know what's going on.
Yeah.
you
Behind that.
can't hear what
Trying to
I
remember.
hear.
Trying to remember what they all are. Yeah, I don't even know which one that is right now.
Yeah, the crickets.
Oh, that's crickets? Okay, I don't even know.
Well, that makes sense then.
That's the thing. Like, I would play with this before the show, and I completely forget. by the time the show starts which ones are doing what.
Yeah.
It's really weird. So I went, hey, what's this one?
I like this card.
I just remember these two are dumb, and I got to reprogram them at some point. But I'm
Dumb
lazy,
and
so
dumber.
Hey.
All right, so this is a very serial question.
cereal.
It's super
question.
serial, guys.
All right,
Super
cereal.
cereal faces.
Cereal.
All right, so Lucky Charms. No, wait, no. I'm sorry.
Lucky Charms.
I'm kidding. if you
They're always trying to get me.
had to go to war, all right, you had to go to war, would you choose to go during the Middle Ages, the Revolutionary War, or World War I? None of which are very exciting, but which one would you rather go to if you had to go to war?
Say them again.
The Middle Ages, talking about like swords and such. Revolutionary War, talking about muskets, and talking about the World War I, the first machine gun.
Yeah.
Revolutionary War. Yeah. I think that's a
Fight
kind
for
of,
freedom wherever there's trouble.
Yep. I think that's just, in my opinion, something that I'd rather fight for if I had to pick from just those
standing in a
three.
line and-
Let alone there was a lot of bad shots back then, which is great. I could be a bit more tactical. So if I had like nowadays knowledge, being able to go back there, I'd be a little bit more tactically advanced.
Yeah,
I
I
could
suppose
actually do a little bit more considering I've never been in an actual battle before, so there's always that to deal with. But if it came right down to it, I'd rather survive a volley and then sit there and watch them.
Then charge! Put your bayonets! Charge!
World War One.
Really?
Yeah, he wants to be in the trenches with all the gas. Yikes!
Artillery shells going all the time.
What do you want to be doing?
Basic, bolt action rifles.
Do you want to be in the Navy during World War I, or do you want to be in the
No.
trenches during World War I?
I mean, both are terrible, I guess.
Do you want to be a tunnel rat? That was a tough time. I'm looking at you, those Peaky Blinders.
That's difficult, but I'd probably do the. I'd probably be in the army. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
wait! I think they actually had the Winchester
The Winchester.
M97, or no, it's like the 1897.
The first machine gun.
Basically, the first trench gun. It was a shotgun.
All of them
pump action.
suck.
Yeah, they had
Listen, all three of them
Had the
suck.
pump with the long bayonet.
They had that in the late
I
1900s.
might change my answer just for the fact that I would totally clear out a trench with a trench gun. I mean, I'd probably be pretty surgical with
The
that
shotgun
thing, but
was created in the late
But
1800s.
Think about it. There was zero medical.
But you had the Browning, I think,
Like
too, maybe.
there was
not yet. It
no medical hope for you beyond the last 100 years. So
Well,
you get injured.
but you're a bit more maimed in World War I than any other war to some degree, too. 'Cause
No,
You don't think so?
No,
You got the gas warfare. You got the barbed wire. You got machine guns, just rat-tat-tat-tat-tat,
no.
bombs ablazing.
You either live or you die. But if you live, at least you've got the hope of the medical progress that they
Great
have made.
War, World War One. I thought they only had a few.
Also,
Magnuson,
gas was
or no?
gas
They had
was
the one
limited. It wasn't
man machine
everybody.
They had the one machine gun
And there was
manned by two men.
There was significantly. I mean, you can look at how many people died in World War One. World War Two was a significant loss, greater than
Well, sure,
World
but
War
that's not
One.
even on
World
the
War
list.
One. There was significantly less loss of life. Revolutionary War was horrific. I mean, these guys laid on the battlefield for hours before people came back and decided to
I'm really surprised.
and kill them off because they were just sitting there.
I'm really surprised you guys didn't want to go with
Die
Middle
of
Ages.
gangrene. Middle Ages is cool, but literally, again, you like injured and then you die 3
you
weeks
got-
later from an infection.
If I had time to
That's-
prepare
sword
for
fight.
it, probably want to go that route. But since I'd just be thrust into it, I'm no good with a blade.
I'm just saying, I guess it is in regards to you right now, but
I was born in the wrong century. Yes, I
I'd
should've been
much
wielding a
rather be
battle axe,
shot
but
than stabbed. I don't.
but you're not wearing as much armor if you're shot.
Does anybody understand like the difference between like being stabbed and shot? Like you
Yeah, I
would
feel
much
like-
rather be shot.
Yeah, you get the wind knocked out of you, I think, and all of a sudden, damn, this hurts. Like I'm bleeding.
Right.
And this
there's
sucks.
more shock
So-
involved.
so it
whereas you
has
can just
to
see
be
the
a
blade
gun.
coming in.
Well, okay, just to let alone the thing that really freaked me out about being stabbed was Saving Private Ryan, where the guy is slowly being
Yeah.
stabbed, and I was like, okay, I'm having nightmares for like
Yeah.
days after this.
No, I would not want to be in the medieval times. Like, heck with that, dude.
You know, Claymore?
No way, dude. Yeah, no way.
you don't
That's
want to be
true.
the
I guess
Witcher.
even in the Great War with a shrapnel or a mild injury, you could recover and be all right. Whereas medieval times, it's like, oh, you got cut, now you're gonna get syphilis randomly and die.
Yeah, I mean, with Revolutionary War, you're probably gonna lose some bodily pieces.
Yeah.
Chances are with like a cannon or somebody chopping it off with a bayonet or maybe I don't know, but
I mean, it's all going to be horrible, but the loss of life was less in World War One. You had a greater propensity for survival because of the evolution of modern medicine.
here's one thing you couldn't really think about, especially if you had the knowledge today and gone back to World War I. We would go looking for a man named Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, right.
You say, I got to kill this man. You're like, what are you talking about?
Where's this Adolf Hitler? Where's his trench?
I got to find
He
him.
was
and
just
kill him.
he was just simply a foot soldier.
I know.
mean,
he was nothing in World War I, but if you killed him before, we wouldn't have to worry about World War II.
Yep.
Chances are, but who knows what Mussolini would have done, or Stalin for that matter. So when you change one thing about history, it changes other stuff too.
True.
So
It's true. Yeah. That's difficult. But
Nobody really looks into the fact that
War's war.
Stalin killed a heck of a lot more people than Hitler ever did.
I know.
Yep.
I just thought I'd start
Imagine
off
with Hitler not in the way.
with a
Of course,
serious question.
Hitler was the
I
one who
didn't think they had
woke
any
Sleeping
in this.
Giant.
I thought they all be silly questions. I was like, that's kind of a serious question. Like,
Yeah.
what war would you rather fight in?
Yeah. All war would suck.
A Revolutionary
that's a
War,
terrible
you're
question.
fighting for your freedom, which is cool, I think. Mm-hmm. And you're fighting for the freedom of the world in World War I to some degree, not necessarily as much as World War II. Personally, I'd fight in World War II, but that's not in here. So,
Yep.
Revolutionary, Middle Ages, you just look cool.
And on that note,
Moving right along.
yeah, we're gonna lighten the mood. Would you rather give up for life appetizers or desserts? The beginning or the end? The appetizer or the dessert?
I don't usually eat appetizers unless it is my meal. That's what's funny about it. Like if I'm
That's
hanging out
true.
with people and it's like, well, this is a really expensive restaurant. Let's just have appetizers and heck with everything else.
Yeah. Don't look at us funny. We paid.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's gonna have a reasoning behind it, but I guess you could pretend you go and you have an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert. I don't know. But what would you rather give up? Appetizers for life. You could never have another appetizer, or you could never have another dessert.
But this is only at a restaurant, right?
Right, I suppose.
I mean,
Where do you have appetizers and desserts?
right? You don't
when you
really
go
do
out
it at
to eat?
home. I mean, thing is,
kind of, but not really.
me personally,
you
For
order
those people who have
appetizers
to
and
have
desserts.
3-course meals, I guess.
yeah, okay, so I'd give up the dessert because I never make it that far.
Me neither.
Because I usually end up with like a salad or a soup to start off with these places. And then I have my meal, and then somebody's like, hey, you want some dessert? And I'm like, I wish. I can't do anything.
And then you try and say something coy like, "Oh, the main course was my dessert."
Yeah, or say, I try to be funny. And she's all, oh my gosh, give me some money.
I mean, wearing that meal on my hips for a while, I don't need the dessert to get involved.
Yeah, they're like, they're
As much as
funny.
I like dessert, it
I'm not
usually
getting a
becomes
good
its own
tip.
thing like 3 hours later, as opposed to right after the meal. It's like, no, thanks, I can't do that right now.
Well, I'm the kind of person that rarely has the appetizer or the dessert, so I guess kind of it's a bit of an either or for me. I guess in a sense, I would rather keep the dessert around because it's still kind of
It
a
would
here
melt
and there thing, and
if you
wouldn't
don't
really
eat it.
want it. But
It would melt if you don't eat it.
yeah. So for the give up the
You could
rest
just do
of my
this with your
life.
soup and be like, yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna
Well,
eat
you know what? I guess to keep the variety, I'd keep the desserts and get rid of the appetizers because the appetizers are usually some form of full meal anyways, just a
Yeah.
smaller version.
Soup,
so it's not
salad.
you'd be missing out on a much wider variety of things by.
Yeah,
not
you
having
could
dessert
get an
on days.
appetizer.
No more jalapeno poppers, though.
Yeah.
Well, you could just order that as a meal. You just
Right, I
order the
suppose that's true.
jalapeno popper meal.
Yeah. Jalapeno
Yeah,
poppers.
they may call it appetizers, but
They would
guess
probably
what?
call
when I
it-
order it, defines what it is.
It'd probably be jalapeno popper mac and cheese.
I mean,
or
if I
something
literally
like
go
that.
on the appetizer menu and order, it's only because I'm going to eat that or I'm going to share it with everybody in this area, and I'll have like 1 or 2. So I'm not really just like, oh, I'll have a full appetizer to myself, and then I'll have a meal, and then I'll have a dessert. That doesn't happen. Never happens.
It's weird though. There are different people out there for sure because I go like, and I'm kind of similar to you. Sometimes I'll go and eat, and what I order is just an appetizer, and that's what I eat as my main course. And then other times I go and I have the main course. And sometimes we're with people, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess we'll get an appetizer and share it with people. But I do have people I go and eat with that they're like insistent on ordering an appetizer when we get there. Yes, 2 or 3 appetizers when we get there. They order
It's a
main
whole
courses
event for some people.
Yeah, and then without even asking, they're ordering like 2 desserts.
How large are
and
these
stuff.
people?
I know, right? And then, ironically, not very big most
I
of
just
the time.
want to spend the money. I don't care if we eat it. I just
And
want
then,
one bite.
and then, of course,
Lovely.
a lot of times, they're always like, "Oh, don't worry about the price. I got this. It's okay." But it's like
You're wasting
obligatorily
food.
spending money, and it's
Yeah.
like,
It wasn't so
I'm
much
that
the price; it was
guy.
the fact that I'm bloated. Ugh.
I'm that guy that out of honor, like I'm going to pay at minimum, I'm paying for my half. But a lot of
Yeah.
times I try to be the guy of honor to pay
Sure.
for the meal or whatever. And so when I see someone spending all that, I'm just like, why?
Yeah, I
Because a lot of times I plan on,
Yeah.
I just plan on
Sometimes they
picking
make
the
it easy
tab.
for you though. Then you're like, okay, fine, I got tip. I'm like, okay, great, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I always split, but it's just like, why are you buying all this unnecessary food? I can't even eat it, So
You just want to make me sick before the evening's over?
Well, then that can dictate what I order then too, because then I'll sit there and look at the menu going,
I'll take
what's
a
going to be
water.
good reheated?
yeah, right. Oh, I
a
need
water.
to have appetizers. Yo, you ordered this. It's really good. I'm like,
Yeah, we're not leaving unless you order. Order it now.
I'll take a water.
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah, I usually
drink
call it
water.
whatever I want. So we'll say appetizers.
All right,
Get rid of that.
appetizers for you, desserts for you. For me, I would definitely, I think, get rid of desserts because I just don't ever get there.
Yeah.
And honestly, desserts most of the time are too rich,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, bleh.
Like I'll have my soup and salad, but I mean, I definitely don't order appetizers as a beginning of my meal unless there's other
A
people.
lot of
there.
times, if they got good appetizers, naturally, like let's say Olive Garden used to have really good Caesar salad. They don't
Yeah.
do Caesar salad anymore, but I would do breadsticks with the dipping boats of sauce, and then like the Caesar salad, and I was full.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, I'm
Olive
done.
Garden is the worst. For
And then
that.
whatever I ordered, I would just immediately
Heat it up
have
later.
like, can I get a to go there? She's like, what?
yeah.
I'm like, to go. She's like, I just bought
just
your
gonna eat
plate.
this
I'm like,
later.
I know, I just need to box it up
Yeah,
because
I do the
I'm
same
full.
thing. 4 or 5 bites in, you're like, I want a box.
Same thing with like Red Lobster or
If it's going to be
Texas
expensive and I can't
Roadhouse.
eat it all at once, I'll order
Yeah,
something that I
any
can
place with
reheat
amazing
later.
rolls, and you're sitting there
Yeah.
like Texas Roadhouse. I'm having like whole handfuls of
good
peanuts
grief,
and
yeah.
handfuls of rolls, and you're
Cinnamon
like,
butter
and a
over
steak.
everything.
Shoot, I really like steak, but I can have like 2 bites before I'm done.
Yeah, which is fantastic about steak because it's a great.
I'll eat it
reheated-
cold.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
a great
care.
reheated item.
I'll just sit there and look like a dog. You know, I just like steak.
Good stuff, steak.
Yep.
steak
All
I'll
right.
remember
So
forever.
two for desserts and 1 for appetizers, and you go.
You sure?
Wail harder at Applebee's. Warbringer
Sure, you don't
says.
want some hush puppies with that? All right.
Hush, puppy.
So mine goes a completely different direction. We've already hit war and food.
What's it good
Yep.
for?
So
Yep.
let's go right to sports.
That's everything.
Via satellite, we have.
And sports with sports.
Would you rather win a golf tournament for $1 million,
$1 million.
$1 million, or win an Olympic gold medal?
I'm gonna do the golf because golf is tough. It's a tough sport, and $1 million is pretty nice. I'm not
give you
sure.
that.
I mean, sure you get endorsements for winning a gold medal.
There you go.
And whatnot, and that makes you money, and nobody could take that gold medal away from you. But they might forget that you won that 1 gold medal. They don't forget the people that win multiple gold medals.
As long as you're not pictured with a bong in your hand at some point to lose your Subway endorsement.
Oh, he had a lot of gold
most
medals.
of the
and
time,
that's
gold
why they got
medal
over.
winners will win more than, or will make more than $1 million off of endorsements.
Well,
most
so
of the
will
time.
golfers if they won a tournament.
I don't really care about medals, I
All you
guess,
get-
per se. I'm pragmatic. I would just take the $1 million.
There's the thing with golf; it's hard to win
It's a decent,
tournaments.
It's a
True.
decent start to a retirement.
If you win
And that's
one
something you can hang
tournament,
your hat on, but will people remember you for one
Who
random
cares
golf
if they
tournament?
remember me? I got $1 million to start my retirement.
I guess
with.
I'm saying
That's
more in
true.
the overall sense of being remembered, so therefore you're a bankable name, so therefore they want to pay you money to have you endorse something.
I'm
Yeah.
saying like
So I mean, I'm thinking more of a long-term income as opposed to
not everybody's Tiger
glory
Woods
by any means.
Not everybody's Tiger Woods. Not going to win 15 majors.
Exactly.
But you win one tournament, you can be a major league or major golfer for like the rest of your career and never win another tournament and
Major,
still
yeah.
make
See, I
some
don't
money
care
in
if
the
people
process.
forget me, and I don't ever make another penny after this.
Oh,
Give
yeah.
me the $1 million, forget my name, and it will start me
usually-
off.
usually
Believe
in
me,
the right
I'd
direction.
rather be forgotten than have notoriety. By all
guess it
means.
depends
I'm
on
just
the
saying,
Olympic
as far
gold
as
medal,
like
too.
long-term bankability, I know I'd make more
Certain-
money as an Olympic gold medal winner than I would as
certain
a one
gold
time.
medals are more important than others.
Exactly.
And if you want a specifically a more important one, then yeah, you could be on that Wheaties box. You know, people are gonna Olympic gold medalist. Blah blah blah. And you only had to do that one time.
People really like people who can move fast, so I guess it'd be either swimming or running.
I have a third
Decathlon
place
winner.
I have a third place medal in the Junior Olympics sitting in a box
And
right
nobody
over there.
cares,
And
right?
Nobody cares.
Nobody
It's
gives a
literally
crap.
sitting on the floor. I don't even.
And I thought people liked children.
That's because nobody cares about third place winners.
I know. Same year I got third place in
Like-
state. I went state
Like
and
if
then I
I
went
won a
Junior
gold
Olympics.
medal,
Nice.
I was a kid though.
gymnastics or
I know how to shoot a gun, so be
skating are the
careful.
ones that people
Well, I'm
seem to
a
care about.
three-time first place Awana Olympics winner, so
Yeah. Yeah, no, you know what? So just for the record, that is a story time at some point. The girl that I lost to,
this is back before it was popular to put
16
women in men's
years
sports.
on the Olympic team for the American Olympic team. So I lost to a gold.
Olympic.
Yeah, she's a gold medalist in the Olympics. 16 years in
I
a
wouldn't
row,
feel bad
so-
about that at all.
Yeah, she's from Colorado and she's amazing.
Nice.
Her name's Becky. She's awesome. And she's an Olympic gold medalist. And so I lost to her when I went to state. She got first. I got third. Another dude got second. He faded into oblivion in Loma, Colorado. He's a farmer. He took over his family farm and stopped shooting. I stopped shooting. She crushed both our dreams, apparently. We went to state.
Sit down.
Then we all went to Junior Olympics. She got first. He got second. I got third, just like we did in state. So Colorado dominated that year. Yeah, we dominated that year. Then she went on to shoot in the Olympics, and actually we shot 22s when we were in
Was this
state.
Winter Olympics?
Huh? No.
Okay.
This was we did state, and then we did
no.
and then we did Junior Olympics, and then after that we went off.
Get to do that more frequently.
Yeah, and then after that we went off. I went off to the military, and he went to his family farm, and then she went to the Olympics, and they shoot pellet guns in the Olympics, which I thought was interesting because she went from 22s to pellet guns, but she went 16 years on the Olympic team and did so
that's something you could do.
Yeah,
for a
she
long
gold
time.
medaled and everything. I mean, she's amazing. So, and she's from Grand Junction, Colorado. So
I knew
pretty
they
awesome.
used 22s. I didn't know pellet guns because they also use the 25 caliber handguns for some of the precision.
Well, that's
shooting,
cross
too.
country. Maybe you're thinking.
Yeah, she also did the where you like cross country ski, shoot with a gun, all that, whatever the heck that's called. Yeah, she did that too.
That's
but
Winter Olympics. I think Winter Olympics goes every.
But she did Summer
4
Olympics
years
and just
then
shot with the
summer
guns
goes
and
every
stuff.
8 years or something like that.
Pretty cool.
No, they
Pretty neat.
they flip flop each other.
Do they flip flop? I don't remember. I haven't cared about the Olympics in about 20 years. I'll be honest.
Yeah, well, there's not a lot to care about anymore. It's all political.
And it
now.
was literally gymnastics because I was like an adolescent child.
I just knew I wasn't destined to do what she did because the eye I use is I have 2200 vision in that eye. So the fact that I placed as high as I placed, it was a literal miracle anyway because I have 2200 vision in my shooting eye.
Yeah.
And the reason why I love handguns is because you can go to cross domination on your eye. And I have to do that because I got 20/20 in one eye and then I'm like blind.
Did you say
in the
she
other
was
eye.
a vampit dominator? I would still say though golf is probably the best bet for me because if you won a tournament,
Back to the question. Okay.
if you won a tournament in golf, that means you have some skill with a golf club, and I don't have enough skill with a golf club.
And gold medalists have no skill.
No,
Oh.
I just like golf better than any gold medalist Olympic sport.
Huh.
Honestly, don't give a rat's about the Olympics.
It's a little puzzling to me that they have an Olympic
I can still be on a
basketball
Wheaties
team,
box.
but they don't have an Olympic golf team. That's something that I
They
feel
do
like golf is 10 times more prestigious than basketball by any means.
They do have a
but yeah.
Ryder Cup, which is kind of like the Olympics of golf because you have America versus
Don't they
the
even
world.
have Olympic hockey too?
I think there might be Olympic golf. I just don't care enough about the Olympics to remember.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, people. Just not into the Olympics.
Yeah.
They
me
got
neither.
curling, so they'll let anything in there.
Downhill bobsledding. Woo!
Hey, you know what? I have a question that's similar. We're going to get into this more with
Really?
one of these questions. Yeah. Really? So, but you're up first before
You're up,
me.
huh?
Dave Baker
Malaysia.
says, "Hey troops, what's up, brother? How's it going?"
Howdy.
Hey, troop.
By the way, I forget to say this. If you're just now joining or watching this on recording on YouTube, make sure that you guys are participating either in the live chat. Throw your ideas of how you would answer the questions in our live chat. That's the best part of being part of live. For anybody that's watching, you can answer yourself in live chat. And then if you're watching this after the fact, you can always write down your answers. And then for all 12 questions, you can put your answers to those 12 questions in the comments. We love to read them after the fact. They're hilarious. We love your guys' answers. You guys sometimes have the best answers to that.
Well,
We
Time
love
to
hearing
think
our own
about it.
voices, but we get lonely sometimes.
They have time to
Yeah,
think
yeah.
about these questions sometimes. We don't. We just
By the way, it was
snap
hilarious.
back.
Remember on April Fool's Day, we did the picture of
Galactic
the
Legends.
Galactic Legends. It was totally a troll thing, right? Just because April Fool's Day.
Clickbait.
I had somebody that had quit the game see that I had that, went onto that video and posted, "So disappointed in you. I can't believe you went back. You're such a
Yeah,
sham."
I saw that.
Did you see that? You know, like, "You're such a
I was like, what are you
loser. I
talking
can't even
about?"
believe it. You're a dummy," or whatever. Unsubscribed. And I was just like,
You didn't stick around long enough to get the joke.
yeah, you're hilarious. I totally got you. So that's hilarious. That's so funny. Yeah.
What is it that one?
Is
I
it,
think it's-
is it the green or
Nope.
the other green?
Yeah. Okay. It's the green one.
Okay, I gotta remember these colors, man.
I
I'm
know.
colorblind, kid.
Yeah.
All right, so going from incredibly serious, I'm gonna go into some realm of kind of gross, but not really.
All right.
All right. Would you rather live with your parents for the rest of your life,
Your natural born life.
or always have to use toilet paper as napkins?
Always use toilet paper as napkins. I mean, come on.
Toilet paper as napkins.
I know that's weird in this generation, this day and age, where kids don't leave the nest at all, ever, and they don't want to.
Or as, bad as, it is.
Some people, I mean, that's a gross generalization, but yeah, I think a lot of
stereotypes are there for a reason.
That's true, but
having to, when this day and age where toilet paper is so scarce.
And that's the funny thing, because I've even spent a little bit of time living with my parents again, and we get along great, and that's not really a problem. But when it came right down to it, I needed my own place again. And
yeah, but they moved in with you temporarily and then moved back out.
I'm just saying. With your parents. It doesn't say that you're paying for their rent and you're paying for their rent.
It was under all the best circumstances. We were splitting rent, all that good stuff. Yeah. But I'm just saying,
living with them.
It's funny for me to say that because I get along great with my parents. We didn't have any problems for the 5 years that we lived together, but overall, I would definitely choose to have my own place, and if that meant having to use toilet paper as napkins, so be it.
And using napkins as toilet paper.
Yeah.
Napkins as toilet paper? Hey, well, depending on the mess, sometimes it works better.
Plus, it's funny. I would use anything as toilet paper at some point.
Yeah,
Tissues,
I would use that
napkins.
Charmin quad thick toilet paper. I'd be fine.
Yeah. There's actually a survival book out there that, they have like those survival books where it's like, eat this plant, but not this plant, eat this, but not this, kind of thing. Well, they actually have a book on what's the best natural toilet paper. So it's like for all these different leaves or whatever, it's like, use this, not this.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they don't want poison ivy on your crack. That'd be bad.
That's right. He says, hey, folks, how y'all doing?
Poison oak,
doing
stinging
great.
Nettle,
How's
all
it
that
going,
fun
brother?
stuff. Howdy.
Yeah, I figured that was kind of an easy one, but at the same time, it automatically makes you go, toilet paper on your mouth. Oh, I would use the toilet paper.
Could you imagine, though, like you're using it and it's like a little piece of toilet paper is like right there, because it broke off.
If it's the giant wheel of toilet paper from the public bathrooms that's single-ply sandpaper,
never.
That would be terrible.
Never.
But if you could pick your own, Charmin, Bounty, Ultra, whatever, triple double roll.
You're eating hot wings.
New scenario.
You go through
hot wings. Oh man, my lips are burning. Just
it's just wiping it off all over your beard. It'd be like in your beard. Yeah. Just like, oh god.
You just have like
there goes my lips.
toilet paper billets in your beard.
Yeah.
You just look like it looks like a dirty butthole. So gross.
My hiney's clean. I'm Charmin.
It's dingleberries when it's still food. So,
you would just have to take a shower,
gross.
dude. You just have to take a shower after every meal.
It'd be the same thing like having to take a crap. You just take a shower after every meal.
I just ate a lot of hot wings. How do you clean that out of your beard? Oh, I have a bidet. It's all good.
Yeah, I have a facial bidet. And then I use the toilet paper just to dab.
I've learned to not have to use a napkin too often, but that's because I have no facial hair at the moment.
Oh, that's actually very funny.
That's funny. That's my dad avoids ice cream because of his beard, because he doesn't like have to wipe it out and doesn't want it to be hanging there and be. It's more of a subconscious thing.
Certain things are more crusty and weird afterwards.
Well, which is funny because I've got a bigger beard and usually I have a more ridiculous mustache because I don't keep it up like I should, and I eat ice cream fine. But there's other things that it's like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna wear that.
You forget to tuck it into your shirt for one.
Yeah,
you just need to tuck that beard in, and then it won't, drip into your, food or your soup or whatever.
Yeah.
See how much easier that is? It's like COVID-19.
Yeah, you look really weird like that.
It's like a regular beard.
I have a really massive center chest boob.
It just looks like a regular beard at this point.
It's awkward. Very awkward. All right.
Hey, it's one way to keep food out of your beard, I guess, and directly onto your shirt.
Mm-hmm. Next question is...
No, that was one that I was going to use, but...
Yeah. So
I know where this is going.
Yeah. Who is the best overweight athlete of all time?
I like how you
the best overweight athlete of all time.
Butterbean is amazing, and he's the one in the picture. But
yep,
I'm trying to think of other guys.
Yeah, they put Butterbean on the picture, but
also think about people like King Kong Bundy. From wrestling. That dude is a massive dude. He's not just fat or overweight. He is tall. He's a big man.
That's right. There are some wrestlers that I have to give credit to because they're pretty light in their
William
feet.
Perry, the refrigerator?
William Perry was a good athlete, but then he got really overweight and was a really bad athlete. You gotta find somebody that's like overweight and still a good athlete.
I still consider
William
Andre
Perry,
the
the
Giant
refrigerator.
overweight but a good athlete.
Yeah, Andre the Giant,
especially for being a giant too.
Well, he was a very heavy man. I'm gonna say.
Hey, didn't he have to drink like a 24-pack before he started to feel anything?
Yeah.
I can give you a list of people like CC Sabathia. As a pitcher. He was overweight.
Who's the best?
David Wells was
I was very surprised by.
pitcher.
Do you remember we went to that strip club, Daisy Dukes in Iowa?
I try not to, but yes.
the main event, obviously they had different stages or whatever, but they had up on all the projection screens the UFC fight that was going on because their local hometown Iowa boy Hero was in the main event, and he was
Roy.
Roy. He's a very out of shape guy.
Yeah, Roy.
Very out of shape guy. Yet held his own and ended up winning the freaking match.
Yeah, Roy was a heavyweight champion. Amazing fighter, super overweight, but
really surprising.
Yeah, super,
very surprising.
There's so many.
Roy Nelson, that was his name.
So
Roy
many.
Actually, and who's that other boxer that was a really big guy that lost to the undefeated dude and
Big
then
Country,
came back?
Roy
and then,
Big Country Nelson, and it comes back to me.
There you
it's
go.
all coming
Big
back
Country.
to me.
So there's a boxer that
Takes
other
me
than
a second.
Butterbean that was overweight.
Yeah, he's a new guy.
Oh, you're talking about George Foreman?
No,
because he was kind of overweight.
No, he's a white guy.
He was older.
He's a white guy who just lost a good amount of weight too, but he was a big dude.
Tyson Fury, but he wasn't
Tyson
very
Fury.
good as an overweight boxer. He was better when he lost a bunch of weight.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I didn't follow him enough. But Tyson Fury was a big dude. But you could say the same thing about Shaq. At the end of his career, he was pretty overweight.
I don't know that he's necessarily very athletic, but
Well, he just dunks on everybody.
Well, it doesn't say athletic. It just says who's the best overweight athlete of all time.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean,
Yeah.
Butterbean is a knockout king, but could he go 15
whoa,
rounds?
Well, you could even
I
say
don't know.
that Babe Ruth was overweight.
Later on in his career, yes. Early on in his career, he wasn't very overweight at all.
But he is the GOAT.
But he is also one of those stereotypes. Everybody thinks he's overweight all the time because they've seen pictures of when he was older. And yes, he was fatter when he retired and at the end of his career.
Yep.
But
who anybody saw the movie, John Goodman was not a very good pick for.
yeah,
He played him well, but
he
was not
looked
a very
like him
good
at
pick.
the end of his career. He did not look like him for the rest of that. His career he was a very athletic, 6'2" guy, a pitcher for good. I mean, yes, there's overweight pitchers. CC Sabathia, David Wells, overweight pitchers.
Roy Nelson, Big Country. I mean, this is why I guess I would agree with you on that. He fought in modern MMA,
Yep.
not old school UFC. Old school UFC was
Or even just old
much,
school
in my
boxing,
opinion, much easier than the new MMA. New MMA, everybody knows everything and is trained for everything. Old MMA was not really genuine MMA. It was like a boxer against jiu-jitsu versus, and everybody didn't train
Now
on
it's
everybody.
actual mixed martial arts.
It
because
is
they have
genuinely.
different,
And so, Butterbean didn't get to fight against everybody who knew everything. And so he had some advantages. If he knew some basic, takedown defense, he could really outbox somebody and keep it on the ground or standing instead of it going to the ground. Roy had to know everything and had to fight against some of the best MMA fighters of all time.
I didn't think he had a chance against the
And
guy
he
who was
is
fighting. I don't remember who he
overweight.
fought, but
He is overweight, but his cardio was second to none when he was in his prime. I mean, it was nuts to see that dude running on the treadie
Yep.
and it's like shaking everywhere. And he's not even winded. And it's like,
You might
what
be
is
right.
going on?
I'm not a fat dude, but I'm definitely not super fit, but I'm flat on my feet.
But I've seen some of his actual workouts and it's like, whoa.
Oh, Bam Bam Bigelow's a really athletic big guy.
Yeah, that's true
And
too.
he could do a moonsault off the top rope.
Shaq. Yeah, Shaq's a little bit overweight.
Shaq
and he
used
was
to be
pretty
very
good.
athletic, though. He got overweight as years went on. And he wasn't nearly as athletic.
He never looked ripped, though.
You want to see somebody who's athletic and overweight.
Yeah, Roy
That's-
always had a big belly. I mean, he always shook his beer belly and always drank. Who was there any sumo wrestlers that were
there's
really
plenty of them.
Because I mean, the sumo
They're
wrestlers
all
are
overweight.
they're all overweight and
That's
they're
the point.
And
extremely
they are
athletic.
amazing athletes.
Yeah.
Amazing athletes. And they drink a lot of sake. But I
The
can't think
sumo
of
wrestlers,
one off
but
the
I
top
just
of my
can't
head.
think of any that are like
say
world
that.
renowned.
Well, there's a few of them. There's one from Hawaii. I can only think of, like, when I think of sumo wrestlers, unfortunately, I can only think of wrestlers.
Right.
Like Yokozuna. And he was fairly athletic for a really overweight guy, but he seems like every big wrestler or tall or overweight wrestler dies before like the age of 50. So obviously it had a toll on their body.
Yeah.
So
it
I don't know
does.
about actual sumo wrestlers. If they die before the age of whatever, maybe that's why they drink so heavily. I have no idea.
Well, it's difficult on joints, on
Right.
livers, on everything. Yeah, getting out of the 50s is.
I always liked Cecil Fielder when I was a kid because he was a big dude, played first base, and he could hit a ball out of the ballpark, literally.
Yeah. Always had a pinch runner, but other than that, he was.
And then Prince Fielder later on took over for the overweight. David Ortiz, but he was a pinch hitter or a designated hitter. People that are DHs, it's just like you don't have to do anything but hit.
Yeah, that doesn't make
You're
him
not
the
make-
greatest of all time.
He doesn't make you a great athlete.
They're not a goat.
But yeah,
Goat.
Charles Barkley, slightly overweight all the time, but always was a kick butt,
So we can at least think of all the overweight athletes we can think of, but I guess we can't really put a title on which one's the greatest of all.
Yeah.
Well, you have to. Yeah, this has to take a little more research, honestly.
Yeah.
Trying to think of other. Oh, what's his nuts from?
Wow.
Yeah, John Daly.
That's the one I was actually thinking of at first, but I didn't know if I had the name right.
John
the golfer
Daly.
John Daly, yeah.
And then there's the Walrus. That guy was overweight too. I can't think of his real name, but he was the Walrus. There's a
Wasn't
couple
John
of
Daly
golfers.
also angry and alcoholic too?
Yeah, he's terrible now, but he still amazes you how far he can hit a ball.
Yeah,
but
true.
he just throws his clubs in the water afterwards.
Snaps him in half, and then the ball actually goes in the hole. Hey, there we go.
Yeah, but overweight, definitely. We can come up with a lot of overweight athletes. Just which one's the best?
Well, speaking of overweight, we're going to go back to, things here. I guess food is part of this one. But
Things.
Stuff. Things. What are you, Rick
Things.
Grimes?
Yeah. So would you rather have everything in your life, everything, showers, weather, food, drinks, be hot or cold?
Hot and it's cold. It's yes.
So if there's a temperature involved, it would have to be one or the other. That you choose on everything
in your life
for the
needs
rest
to be
of your life.
hot or cold.
But everything has to match.
Yep.
Gosh.
You would choose hot or cold, and that would be for everything.
Cold
that you,
showers, cold food,
cold weather,
cold turkey,
drinks,
cold weather,
cold women,
cold shoulders. Lots of cold shoulders.
Well, so let's play this out. Hot showers. I guess so. Hot food, better than cold food most of the time.
Oh, I definitely prefer hot showers.
Hot, summertime versus wintertime. Okay.
Yeah.
Hot women. Wait, what was that?
Hey! All the
Where are we
women
going
in
with
your
this
life.
again?
Well, that would suck if all
Everything
women.
Hot
in your
weather,
life.
hot
If
food,
it had a temperature
hot
involved.
drinks like coffee,
Yeah.
Hot pot of coffee.
hot showers. I mean, basically everything that I just listed. Yeah, I'd rather have
But
it
here's the
hot
thing.
than cold.
I really enjoy
It's
hot
hot
tubs, swimming
outside. You want to
pools.
have something cold, so you'd have hot water that you're drinking.
You wouldn't drink hot
hot-
water. You'd have hot coffee, hot tea.
Yeah, but you'd be drinking hot crap while it's 100 degrees outside.
Yep.
Your air conditioning wouldn't work because it'd be hot in your house.
I mean, I guess technically in this climate, it would actually make a little more sense to make everything cold, but depending on where you live in other
You
places.
just go sweat it out.
Yeah.
Hell, you wouldn't wear any clothes for a while. I'd imagine you'd just be like hanging out in
You just
shade.
sit in the hot
Just
tub.
like I'm dying. I'm
I think there
Drinking
is-
your
there's
hot
some-
tea.
at least with it,
your
everything.
There's some
hot
science
girlfriend.
behind you regulating your body temperature well, depending on what you put in your body. So I think that might have something to do with it. I don't know if that'd be negative necessarily, but I think there would be something that
you
would
could drink
compensate there.
cold water in cold weather, but you can wear lots and lots of furs to keep warm.
I think what I'm hearing is you're going cold and you're going hot.
I'm just trying to make
You'd
a
have cold
devil's
showers
advocate.
though.
I've taken cold showers.
I have too. That's fine, but I don't know if I'd want to do that always, and I don't know if I'd always want to drink cold stuff. Maybe that would be probably okay. The cold drinks, but cold food always.
Yeah,
Not
it
so
probably would
much.
be
It's
cold.
Vichy
most of the time.
Swiss.
There's not a lot of
toast
there's
over.
not a lot of good cold food.
Yeah,
There's some.
I can eat Chinese cold.
Some
I can
cold
eat cold
salad.
steak.
Yeah.
eat a lot of
You're
cold
settling, dude.
You would miss
You're
out on
totally
a lot
settling.
of a lot
Everything's
of cold
better
desserts.
hot.
I've
First.
been settling all my life.
We are settlers.
We are settlers, son. I got my stick and hoop.
The girl has her faceless dolls, and you have your cabbages.
Hey, it's your bro. What's up? He's saying a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, he's talking about the old. He's hung up on the old versus the new. He thinks the old was still harder because there was no like time limits and all that. He feels like the old UFC was harder than the new, and I still disagree. I feel like,
wholeheartedly.
dude, these guys are now training, 8 hours a day on 4 different mixed martial arts, and the old guys, that's not the way it was.
How would Brock Lesnar do?
No.
How would Brock Lesnar do in the old school version of
Oh,
UFC?
he would have destroyed the
what
old
I'm saying.
guys. You know what I'm saying?
He would have been a lot younger
yeah,
too.
Brock would have thrown someone
Brock
to the
in his
ground
prime
and
for sure. He's getting a little-
headbutted
getting a
somebody,
little
and it
soft
would have
these
been
days.
over.
Yeah,
Brock Lesnar, yeah.
he's big. He's a beast.
Yeah.
Incarnate.
He's such a big personality, So much always coming out of that stone cold face.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his voice is so high
Matt
pitched.
Hughes. Matt Hughes is amazing. Matt Hughes is absolutely one of the greatest of all times coming out of there, but he's not overweight. Matt. He never
There's
was.
plenty of football players, plenty of
Got to be in
baseball
context
players.
of the question.
But he was
So,
a wrestler. All the wrestlers always had a significant advantage because all they had to learn was, striking and
Learn how to punch
and
but you
mix
can
it. Yeah,
grip.
mix it
Go
with their
take some
grappling.
boxing classes for a while. There you go.
Well, you can
Yeah.
kick too.
Because their
Just
grappling was
dodge.
superior. Because all you had to know was superior grappling, and you were good.
I mean, I'm sure it was a little bit thrown off by the fact that the people weren't picking themselves up and throwing themselves with you, but I'm sure you got over.
Or jujitsu, they get them on their backs and they were comfortable, and then Matt Hughes would be like, "Why are you so comfortable on your back?" Okay, that's the wrong question.
They're already getting a little too close in that situation.
Yeah, Uriah Faber in his WEC days for sure. I have all those WEC videos before WEC got bought out by UFC.
So hot or cold?
I said hot. He said cold.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and it's
Okay. I guessed it correctly. Good.
What'd you say?
Yeah, I would say there's certain things I would definitely miss as cold, and I would have a hard time with it in the hot heat of the summertime. But yeah, overall, I think the majority of what I eat, drink, and date is hot. So
Yeah, but what's a cold wife or a cold girl? I mean, she's just cold shouldering you.
The one looking at her phone the entire time going...
That's every woman.
Yeah.
It's every woman. If she's hot, I mean...
Every woman.
She can still be hot and just ignore you. I mean...
Anything.
I mean, there's some stereotypes about hot girls. Yes, there's not a lot of personality, or yes, they are all very mean. But,
what up, Matt B?
It's a numbers game. I eventually date enough hot women. I'll eventually find one that's actually level-headed.
They're all hot.
And a good, even balance of things.
They won't be attractive. They'll just all be hot. They're all cold shouldering.
Always a friend of mine always said, "Jake, you just deserve a supermodel brain surgeon." And I'm like, well, you find me one and we'll go from there.
Supermodel brain surgeon.
Matt B is part of the Asian Wives Club. What's up, brother? Mark Garnett says they're going to do UFC with face masks now. That'd be epic.
This one's an
they
easy
all look
one.
like killers, straight
Technical
killers.
foul for removing face mask.
Yeah.
This is an easy one. And it's kind of on the same vein, sort of same train of thought.
OMG.
Would you rather lose? Would you rather lose the ability to taste food?
Okay.
Or feel sex?
Food.
Food.
It's an easy one, right? I don't care about food.
This is right in my wheelhouse because, as I've said before, I eat to live. I don't live to eat.
I
don't prefer food. I don't enjoy it. It's not something I look forward to.
If there's any ladies out there, I'd like you to answer this question.
3% statistically watch my channel. 3%. So.
Oh man, I'm just saying. I'd really like to hear what a female has to say about food.
Oh wait, there's actual women in here.
They would pick food.
I have to apologize for.
They'd rather feel food.
A lot of things.
They'd rather feel food than taste.
Or taste food.
Oh my
They would rather taste food. That's what I meant.
I just want to swim in a pool full of noodles.
They'd rather taste food.
So I think it's like it's a super bipolar question. If
Yeah,
you're
it
a guy,
is.
you're gonna pick.
Guys are like
sex.
food, whatever.
Buy food.
Yeah, I don't care about the food. I'll still eat, but
Yeah,
I
Darth
don't need to taste
Skywalker
it.
agrees food.
Yeah,
Matt B's on a lunch break doing more drywall today. Cool.
Yeah.
Fun.
yeah, it's pretty silly.
He'd probably give up his food.
Are you the hanger or the mudder?
Yeah,
Both can be annoying, but I'd definitely rather hang drywall than
that
mud
sounded
drywall.
dirty. Are you the hanger or the mudder?
Well,
Unless you know what he's
if you
talking
want
about.
to take it there.
Well, I just did. See, are
Yeah,
you
she's
gonna
right
feel
there.
it or are you gonna taste? Anyway,
I mean, if you're the hanger, you do a lot of screwing.
Yep. You got to screw those
Yep.
drywall boards into
Get your
place.
scrub gun out.
Oh, wow. Speaking of.
are we in the same vein?
Yes. Speaking of
We're gonna
yours.
turn into this for a while. We're gonna have a lot of drinking.
Yeah,
and
Matt
a
B
lot of-
always can get an apple pie. Well, this is
Warm
going
apple
south.
pie.
This is going south really quick. All right. So this is
Moving along.
you gotta. This is a
I
theoretical.
figured it was an easy question.
So we got to put ourselves in theoretical. Okay. Would you rather get your girlfriend pregnant when you're 16? So assume you're 16 and you got a
Okay.
girlfriend.
Well, what's she?
Assume she's 16-ish.
Assume
with
all
you.
this and that you'd never
She's
went on
35.
MTV.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So you're both 16-ish, and you get her
She's
pregnant
your,
at 16.
She's your history teacher.
Or you're married and your wife's 60 and you're 60 and you get your wife at 60 pregnant. Would you rather have a young pregnancy or a super old pregnancy?
Young
girlfriend at
pregnancy, lots
16?
of time in life to make up for the mistake. Whereas that late in life, you're behind the 8 ball in
You just
so
call
many
it
ways.
80 when they're 20.
You just called
I
your
know,
child
right?
a mistake.
It's like,
I
well, I
know.
just hope I
Well,
live long enough
I
to see
mean,
him graduate.
If this was like 1800s and back, it'd be perfectly fine to get your 16-year-old girlfriend pregnant or
Right.
wife, because she'd probably
Well,
be
and
married
I
by
guess
14.
nowadays with modern science, with people living longer and all that, you might be healthy enough to at least see it
Might
till it's,
be.
see the kid through till it's 10 years old. But I mean, really, by the time you're 70, 80 years old,
Yeah.
your kid's already taken care of you.
I think what it boils down to is if it's nowadays, you could probably be better off with your 60-year-old wife, and you might have a good shot at having a decent kid come out of that. And if it was back in the day, you could have a 16-year-old, with
Hey, you're playing the fence and doing both sides.
Well, that's true.
You gotta
And
pick
I guess
one.
I'm coming from a standpoint of being a mature adult. So being 16 years old at the time, I would have been able to actually handle that more than, the
Darth
majority of kids
Skywalker
these
says
days.
60.
Well, I'm saying they all handle it now. It's called 16 and Pregnant. It's a TV show. Look it up.
I wouldn't call that handling it.
I'm not saying they're doing a good job. I'm just saying they're
Yeah.
doing it a lot more.
I fear for those poor, poor children.
Yeah. Which ones? The ones having babies or the babies?
Says, would you rather? I think, honestly, I'd rather the 16 because, I was 23 when I had my first child. And, you're never really ready. Mm-hmm. But at 16, you're definitely not ready. And, it's going
these
to...
days,
It'll
especially.
definitely thrust you into adulthood right away. And I think my personality would...
Unless you have
want
enabling
to-
parents that take care of and raise your kid for you.
Well, they will
in which
probably
case,
do that
16 and
anyway.
pregnant.
They'll probably help you out, especially. But I think from the perspective of a man getting somebody pregnant, as opposed to being a woman getting pregnant at 16 is a little different. I imagine she'd probably be like, "Well, this kind of sucks at 16."
Yeah.
But
My
if you're a
life's
man
over.
getting a girl pregnant at 16, you have two choices. You can run and hide when you're screaming her name, all right, or let me tell you now, there are prices to fame, all right. Wait.
Warbringer just said, SureShot, did you describe yourself as mature? Sure.
There's moments here and there.
But you'd have to either cut and run, or you'd have to, own up and be a man. And I think my personality-wise would want to cut and run at that time, but I would probably, because of honor and all that stuff, stay and
your
probably
parents.
help me grow up and be a better man. So I'd say the 16 as well.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go there because I think I'd be too old to have a kid at that point, and that would just be... I'd like to have more time to spend with them to actually, help raise them and be part of their life, as opposed to, I gave birth to you. Now,
But here's
in
the
a-
thing.
in a nursing home.
I'm thinking about it from the perspective of being at my age now, thinking, well, it'd be nice to get somebody pregnant at 60.
Hold that off as long as I can.
So
I'm
you
just
said
saying-
60?
I'm just saying, like, at this point in my life, if I'm 60 years old,
Yeah.
if I can get a wife pregnant, that'd be a godsend. But if I was 16, I'd have to think about it from another perspective, because I'm not 16 anymore. And if I was 16, yeah, sure, she's probably pretty fine at that point still, and
Yeah.
we're both probably still young and vibrant, and can take care of kids physically. I don't know. I'm not aging poorly, so who knows at 60? But I'd probably rather go with 16.
16?
Yeah.
In 16. Okay. So good. You guys are in pretty much agreement with most people, but I would say young, and there's a couple of reasons. First, I would want to be really close in age to the children for the reason of kind of understanding
Right.
generationally. I think once you're, three to more generations away, it's really hard. I mean, your grandparents are so far generationally away from you. Even if you love them, you have a hard time connecting with that generation. A lot of times, statistically speaking, people
Right.
have a hard time when there's
general.
Sure.
3 generations away. And so there's that. You want to actually be able to understand them, and they understand you.
Right.
And so if you get too far away, the second thing is, and this is just from literal experience, life is full of evolutions.
So you have more experience in that area in the room right now.
Yeah, life is full of evolution, and so other people call them seasons of life, right? You go through a season where you got like little babies, and you go through a season where you got like little toddlers, and you got season where you got like young kids, and then you got preteens, and then you have teenagers, and then you have young adults, and then you have adults that are having kids, and when you hit 60 years old,
Yeah.
you're past all those seasons. You're not going back. I mean, I don't want to go back. My wife and I, we have friends. We have lots of friends we love, but we have friends that have like little children. And every once in a while, we'll have somebody that comes over with like a really little child. And we used to be that family, so we get it. But we used to really love those little children being around. And all of a sudden we noticed, her and I noticed that occasionally those little children kind of irritate us a little bit. And it never used to be that way, ever.
Yep.
It never used to be that way. And now we're kind of like,
I've already gone through
And-
all that when it was all cute and everything,
Yeah.
and now I'm kind of over it.
And it
your
was-
child.
yeah, and it was totally something we used to not even have a problem with at all. And now we're kind of like just a little bit like, So we both realize that we're kind of moved past and beyond that season of life. And to get to 60 and have to go all the way back to like 5 seasons ago
Yep.
would be very, very, very difficult
Twilight of
for
my
me.
life. I'm going to start settling down, enjoying things, taking
always
some time to
been-
enjoy a sunrise. Oh, now I got a screaming toddler. Well, there you
So,
go. Up
I've
it.
always been able to translate or whatever be able to relate to people from different generations
Yeah,
pretty well.
that's good.
Even as a child, like old people were like, "Oh, this child's interesting." They weren't like, "Get this freaking kid out away from me."
Ray
I
Rock
can't
says,
stand
"Good
it."
hump day, everybody." So what's up? And Darth Skywalker does make a good
morrow.
point. There, in theory, would be more resources to raise a child once you're 60, and in theory, that's true. However, that's your average retirement age is post 60 years old.
yeah,
Would
more
you really
time.
want to use all your retirement to raise a child? That's my only question
have
to the
more time.
resources thought process on that.
But if you're
So,
16, you might not be with the person you love.
maybe
You might just be with somebody you were really
Yeah,
into.
hopefully you're
at the
gonna
time.
stick with them, make it work, and either
Well, by
learn to love them
60,
because
and divorce
love
them
is
by
a
60.
choice. You have to choose to love
Hopefully
somebody.
you're
at
with
some
someone
point.
you love
Divorce them
by
by the
60.
time you're 60. You go, I hated this person. Why did I get her pregnant at 60?
You could still choose to love her. But
I'm just saying. That's
Moving
how
on.
people act these days.
so we have to go from a deep one to something really heavy hitting here. So I
Lord.
apologize for the weight of this question.
lot of
weight.
Hopefully
The
you
weight.
guys can process
This is
this.
super serious, guys.
Hopefully you can deadlift this question. Would you rather live in a world without headphones or a world without doors?
Without headphones or without doors?
Or without doors.
Let me see. I was reading Matt B.
Would you?
He was talking to his wife about this the other day, just that last question.
Oh, nice.
Would you rather live in a world without headphones or a world without doors?
That's such a teenager question.
Yeah, I would say without headphones. I
Yeah,
don't care
totally
about headphones.
without. I mean, yes, you can still hide behind a door and play your music behind that door, and I'd be like, well, I can hear what they're doing at least. In there.
Doors are privacy and
Right.
provide some
But so are
level
headphones.
of minor
but headphones
security.
aren't, because you're just like a reason to ignore you. Reason
Yeah,
to
but
ignore
I
you.
door-
mean,
but
a
doors
sheet
provide-
of masonite isn't a door. A curtain isn't a door.
It's true. Beads are
I
not
mean, you could really
doors.
try to play both sides of this here, but I'm generally in agreement with you. If it was a situation where no doors, as in every entrance to your room was always open, there was no way of being able to give
Your
yourself that
house?
privacy,
I
then
know.
yeah, your house,
Garage?
obviously, I would say,
Garage.
see you later, headphones. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's an easy
I mean,
one.
unless this is
If I could play the
ancient
system,
Greece.
not that I love headphones so much, but be able to keep both, I would just find alternate doors.
How about, it's Greece, so all we have is pillars?
I would just build my house with no doors, and I just never leave. Then I'd have all the privacy I needed.
How about-
listen to my headphones?
Hodors.
Hold door. Hold door.
Hold the door.
Wait. Hold door. Hold door.
Hodor.
Hold door.
Play the guitar, Hodo. Hodo. Sorry.
Yeah, no headphones easy.
Yeah, super easy. These questions are easy.
Super
What's
easy,
going on
yeah.
here? We're getting into the realm of super easy.
I was just happy
questions.
to find a bunch that I hadn't read already. And
Yeah,
didn't
right. Me
actually
too.
ask.
I was like, oh, look at that. I could
We
ask
found a new
that.
patch.
I could
All right.
ask
Wow,
that
Matt B
question.
says without doors, he loves his headphones and no slamming doors once my daughter reaches those teen years.
Oh my gosh.
That's true. But I mean, with a teenage daughter, don't you just pretty much, oh, wait, you're about to hit
She
12.
could
I'm going to go ahead and remove your bedroom door now.
Once she's a teenager, she could sneak out without you ever knowing.
That's true.
You
Yeah,
don't hear
because you
those
have no doors.
creaking.
You just walk right out. What happened to you? I don't know. I'm lazy. I'm watching TV.
Motion sensors.
Yeah.
Have that on lock.
Have that
Cameras.
crap on lock.
You will have
Follower
so much
cell.
freedom, except for the rules that I place on you.
I put the tracker in you.
Eek, no.
Take the mark of the
Don't want to be a
window.
helicopter parent, that's for sure.
Helicopter.
I'd rather my kids like me and appreciate the discipline that I gave them as opposed to being too ridiculous one way or the other.
Yeah. I
Too many
would
parents
prefer
want to
to
be
a
friends
perfect
these
parent.
days, and it's showing.
I'd
It's
prefer
really
to
showing.
be a perfect parent. Is that possible?
Yeah, right.
Perfect.
Just take that playbook and just throw it out the window as soon as that kid's born.
Yeah. Silver Linings playbook.
Perfect parents do not exist,
Nope.
except for mine.
Yeah, perfect parents breed. Well, anyway, I'm not gonna go into that.
No, they don't. They don't breed. That's the problem.
They're smart enough not to do it in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay, would you rather have all music? This is in the same vein.
Hey, Braden.
Would you rather have all music or all TV be in Spanish?
All music or all TV?
Yeah, which one do you want in Spanish? All the time.
TV. I'm
TV.
sorry, I just can't get down on Spanish music.
No, it doesn't have to be Spanish
I'm not
music.
saying it doesn't have to be
It's
Spanish
in
music.
Spanish.
I'm
That
saying,
means
yeah, but all the music
Master
that I know
Puppets.
would suddenly sound so different.
Yeah.
Master of Puppets is all
No,
Spanish.
TV. I could give
And
up.
TV because I could eventually just learn the language.
Or you could read the subtitles. in
Yeah,
English.
I could
Yeah.
give up
I
TV.
could, yeah.
Yeah.
So I could learn
Or
a new language
do
and
subtitles.
keep good music.
Well, have you
So,
seen
hey, why
Spanish
not?
TV? That stuff's pretty dramatic. Pretty
It is.
entertaining too. Sao Pablo.
Well, again,
friend.
we're not assuming this is not Telemundo here. We're
Yeah.
just saying all TV is in Spanish.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
you
I'd
could
be
just
fine with that.
Yeah.
you could just put subtitles and just read it. Learn to be
It
a
would
better
just
reader.
force me to
Or learn
finally. Yeah, it would
Yeah,
just force me to
it forced me
finally.
to pick Spanish back up.
Yeah, exactly.
Amigo. Yeah.
We got 2 people who sang music. Interesting.
Wow. Yeah, Matt B and Darth Skywalker both would pick music.
I take it music's not as important to you
Maybe
guys?
they're Spanish.
Could be.
They're just like, I'd rather listen to it. Hey, it's the language of love. Oh.
I wonder if anyone out there knows what that's from.
Yeah. It's the language of love.
If they don't, they're missing out.
Yeah, totally.
Although I show people that Elvis and people are like, "What's that?"
That's
stupid.
It was good.
Well, a few years ago, you all loved What the Fox Say, and then these are the same
that's the
guys
most
who have
annoying.
even better songs out
Yeah.
there, and you're all like, "What?"
They're intolerant. That's the problem.
Yeah,
These
that's
people
so
are
intolerant.
Intolerant is one of the best songs ever, dude.
Yeah, in their lineup.
Yeah,
And the
well,
music video is classic.
that's why he'll never be a star.
Never.
You know?
I know.
It's all right, but I've got a pen.
But you
trick.
can take them to your cabin.
Intolerance.
Yeah.
I love that music video, dude.
You can take them to your cabin.
My cabin.
If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, look up Elvis Intolerant. It is the best music video
Yeah,
ever.
and you'll thank
Ever.
us because when
Yes.
there's war and all is hell, you'll send in Jan England.
Jan Anglin.
Jan England.
I like a cappella, woolen hats.
Spanish guitar and the rhythm. I can get down some Spanish guitar for sure.
Well, they throw that into a lot of stuff, though.
There's a great couple duo, Rodrigo y Gabriela, who does some amazing Spanish guitar. He plays the lead, she plays the rhythm. She does a lot of the guitar thumping and tapping. It's good stuff.
So, for my last question,
They also don't sing.
this is
That helps.
This is
if you
kind
don't
of
know what you're
a
talking about.
big analytical question for you two of you, and I knew you two would be able to really analyze this. But it's definitely not a question for me because I don't even care anymore about
Can
sports.
you hear this?
Yes, and I can hear when you tap all the
Okay.
time, like when you go
Well,
like
I have a nervous tick.
tap 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 tap.
Nervous tick.
Tippy tap,
Yes.
tippy tap.
So, what are the easiest and what are the hardest positions in all of sports?
Oh.
Easiest positions and hardest positions. And I mean,
Yep.
some of them athletically are easy and hard mentally. Like
The
a kicker.
easiest and the hardest. And they don't
Kicker
say
is-
mentally or physically. Just
Well,
what are the
see, in
easiest, what are the
baseball, I'd be a
hardest?
great catcher, but my knees are too weak. I couldn't crouch
Well,
like
it's not
that
about
the
you.
entire
It's
game.
about what is the
I'm
hardest.
saying, but it's a hard position to play because of that much
Yeah.
crouching, and a lot of those guys blow their knees out
and
before
you're
their
calling
career's
the
over.
game, too.
And you're calling the game.
Perception.
Catching a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't care if you have pads on. That's a tough.
Goalies are a rough position too.
Nose tackle.
Nose to
The blind side.
I would say quarterback's a really hard position because you can get your butt.
yeah,
handed
but
to
I
you.
would say
And
the
you have to
I would say the
pretty much-
linemen have a harder time than the quarterback.
You
by
have
all
to
means.
remember. Well, they have physically a harder time, and they have to remember their blocks. But
I think that's
they
what they're
miss their
talking
block.
about.
You're the one getting destroyed, and you got to be able to come back up from that and then throw a pass on like a 3rd and long for a first down.
That's funny because I
While
guess
you're
that's,
dizzy.
that's the way I'd answer
Yeah.
a question because the technical, the strategic, the thinking part of it's not the hard part for me. It's the physical part that's usually hard for me. Whereas I guess for some people the hard part would be the strategy of having to be a quarterback.
I'm just saying, as a quarterback, especially back in the days, they had to call the games themselves.
What's the easiest position? Right field.
Well, they always put people in
yeah.
the worst. They always put the worst fielder in
Pinch-hitter?
left field
Yeah.
because I don't know. I think it's
Statistically,
because-
there's less balls hit there.
yeah, statistically, less balls are going there because it's assumed people aren't going to be able to pull the ball as much. But still, it's a real difficult one.
I don't know any of the positions in basketball. I just kind of almost literally don't care about that sport, so I wouldn't know.
A center, because you're tall, yet you're in the paint. All you got to do is jump and block, and then jump and put the ball in the hoop. You don't really have to shoot.
Yeah, it's the
Just stick
easiest and
in
the
the
hardest
hoop.
positions in all of sports.
You just have to be 7 feet tall, and you're good
hardest
to go.
goalies would definitely be up there for some of the hardest because those are really the make or breaks for those teams.
Yeah.
It was, and see, I would almost say it's kind of a 50-50 with soccer because you're either running back and forth down a ridiculously large field all day, hardly doing anything,
And at least you're.
or you're the one sitting there blocking all the shots that might happen to make it near you.
I'd say the
But is there
defensemen's-
anything other than goalie and the rest of them?
Well,
I don't know any positions in
spend more
soccer.
time. Defensemen spend more time on their own side,
They're the
helping with the defense.
Okay.
And then there's the other guys that go back and forth more. I can't remember what they're called.
Darth Skywalker says the hardest would be the pitcher, easiest would be a punter.
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 Yeah, you can get ran into as a punter.
Yeah.
As a kicker, you don't get ran into. You'd still have to make some tackles. Maybe you're like the last line of defense. But the only real pressures on you is when you have that game-winning, field goal that's like 50 yards.
But a punter, yeah, that'd be pretty easy. I mean, if you
could screw
practice,
up.
punting should be relatively easy if that's your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And so all you have to do is go out and just punt, and then you're done.
But you could.
Yeah, I guess in baseball,
right
as
off
far
the
as
side of your
technically and with talent and with all that, pitching is definitely a very hard aspect of it because I did it for a while and getting all the pitches to
How
actually
about kick returns?
throw right.
When they nail a ball right back to your face.
That too, yeah. Catch a
kick
line
returner.
drive in the face.
I'm going to say the kick returner is probably the easiest because nowadays, especially with the ball being on the 25,
All you gotta do is
basically
just
take a
kneel.
knee, take a knee,
Yeah,
take a knee, take a knee, take a knee. If you don't take a knee, you run. And if
Special
you don't run,
teams
well,
kick
whatever.
returner, yeah.
Yeah, just a kick returner.
Take a knee.
Easy job.
That is
It
an easy
essentially
job.
killed the kick return, but yeah.
Yeah. But well, nowadays, it's just the way it is. Sorry, I'm tapping again. It's the way it is. I can't help but tap.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
can't think of any other sports really. I have
Team
difficult
sports
positions.
especially because
Yeah.
other individual sports, it's the hardest and easiest is the individuals. So
Right.
it'd have to be an easy and hard coming on team sports.
It's really difficult to be like
What's the
a
hardest
cornerback.
position in bobsledding?
A cornerback as a defensive player. You have to play against these guys that are taller than you generally and as fast, if not faster than you. On the corners, you're trying to make sure you watch the quarterback so you don't look like you're pass interfering with the guy that you're trying to block from catching the ball.
Yeah.
Actually,
it's a tough-
anybody out there
tough
from over the
position.
pond know much about cricket? They can tell me what's the hardest position to play on that.
Or
It's a wicked
what's
ghoulie.
what's the one again where they have the ball in the stick with the
Polo?
not polo.
Field hockey?
What the heck? No, my son played it. Oh my god, I can't
Lacrosse.
believe
Lacrosse.
That
Thank
took me
you.
a second. I was
Yeah,
like,
lacrosse. No, lacrosse is a
Like, I
good
know exactly
game.
what you're talking
I know.
about. Why just leave
I
my
had
brain?
a brain fart. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Isn't that a Native
lacrosse.
American?
I know
That's
some
a-
of the
Isn't that a Native American game?
most annoying toolboxes play lacrosse. That's for sure.
Well, it's usually in like the richer schools that get
Oh, yeah, it's
lacrosse
more
as an
uppity.
actual.
Oh yeah, what about polo?
Yeah, lacrosse is
Polo.
a fun
Marco.
game, but there's some hard positions in lacrosse.
Matt
for
B, you
team
probably got
sport.
it before I did. There's just a delay.
Yeah, lacrosse.
Lacrosse.
Lacrosse. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's some pretty easy positions out there, relatively speaking. They probably don't get paid nearly as much as some of the harder positions.
Relatively
That's
speaking.
probably, yeah.
I'd say being center would be a very difficult position because you are a lineman
You have to snap
and you
and then
have to
block.
snap and then block. And so it's the hardest lineman position in the line.
Yeah.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Center would be like, you're the man. You are the
I'd say
core to that line.
Running back's pretty difficult because especially if you don't have a decent line to block for you,
Well,
to
and you
make
gotta
the-
get
You have
through.
to break that tackle. You have to make that.
You have to
Yeah.
visualize
Yeah. That's
the
tough.
future kind
you're
of.
not
Yeah,
just
so if you're a
how the
Chicago
line's
Bear
gonna
who's
break.
never had a line to defend you, whatever, how do you break tackles? Because they don't
Walter
do that
Payton.
either.
That's how you break tackles.
Walter Payton,
Walter
yeah.
Payton.
You go back 35 years. And
Yeah, the best running back ever without a line for like half of his career, if not more than half his career.
Yeah, it's so sad to see such great players on such mediocre teams sometimes, you know, because it's just like, oh, you couldn't be fully
Hey,
utilized.
you got to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
You
it
couldn't
could
be the
happen.
Barry Sanders of the situation here. We're just like,
Barry
oh, look
Sanders
at
is the
that
same
giant puddle of people, and all of a sudden, boink, there he
Barry
goes.
Sanders is the same situation. He led the league in negative rushes, but yet he rushed for 2,000 yards in a
ridiculous.
season because he was only like 5'8", something like that.
Sorry, Emmett Smith, you just aren't a likable guy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not that I don't like Emmett Smith. It's just that you had a great line
Cowboys.
behind you the whole freaking time.
The whole time. Yeah.
Cowboys.
And
Yeah.
I watched your highlights.
Yeah, back
There's
when the
nothing
Cowboys were a team.
exciting about a giant wall or a giant hole to run through.
Mm-hmm.
You have nothing. You don't have to make moves.
Yeah, watching those replays were very like, oh, these aren't exciting.
Yeah,
It's
but
just-
watching Barry Sanders and Walter Payton break tackles and make crazy moves and make people miss, you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a running
teleport
back.
across the field out of nowhere, going. You were just in a pile over there. Somebody just tackled
swear
you. All
you
of a
were
sudden,
down.
boink, out of nowhere. There
And
you are, still running.
There might have been one sort of run from Emmett Smith like that. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah, watch the replays. You'll see what we're talking about.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's going to be an Emmett Smith fan. Like,
I don't care.
Yeah,
I loved Herschel Walker, all right? And you traded Herschel Walker to
Yep.
the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
lots of bad trades that happen all across all sports. It always makes me confused.
Loved Herschel
It's like,
Walker.
oh, hey, let's figure out how we can shoot our team in the foot. Bam! There you go. Trade him off.
Bo Jackson. That's all I got to say.
Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson.
Bo
Yep.
Jackson.
Ray-Rock, you got that one right.
Mm-hmm.
Bo freaking Jackson.
Yep. Greatest football
Greatest
player
athlete.
in Tecmo Bowl.
Well, next to
Darth
him and
Mike got his
Deion
season
Sanders.
tickets for the Bucks to see if Brady, fails.
I hope they both
Cool.
go 8-8. I hope the
both the Pats
Patriots
and the Bucks.
and the Bucks go 8-8.
That would be hilarious.
Yep.
Miss the playoffs by a game.
They broke the band up, man. That's what you get.
It'll be fun.
I have no particular love for Tom Brady or the Patriots, but yeah, you broke the team up. It's not going to go well for you.
Hey, when you can blow your nose and wipe your butt at the same time, you know.
there was a synergistic thing going on over there. So it's
Yeah, now the best thing that would happen out of that too is Belichick retires without him to be there, so then they really will go 8-8, and then to have Tom Brady
they'll go 2-14
retire
if that happens.
horribly in the Bucks. Yeah.
They'll go back to what the team used to be, and that'll be great.
Yep.
Gronkowski will
And then
probably
they'll
get
lose
injured.
to the Bears in the Super Bowl again.
Oh, that'd be great.
They have enough rings, man. They don't need any more for a while.
For like 10, 15,
Let somebody
20,
else play.
30, 40 years.
Yeah. Yeah, the Patriots and the Yankees just really need to just take a seat. You know,
And Yankees
just
have
kinda
sort
a
of
seat.
been.
Kind of a
They've
seat
been
right
in the
over there.
playoffs a lot still. They just still show up in the playoffs, and you're going, well, whatever.
You guys have been raping my sport long enough. It's time to go to bed. All right. So moving on to the last. Is this the last one?
Yep,
Yeah,
this is
all
the last
right.
one for
Cool.
story time.
I think we strung this one out long
Story
enough.
time.
I probably could have left a different one for the end here, but I thought there were 4 questions that I hadn't read before, so I'll just go with that.
That's usually what happens now.
These are all would you rather too. I mean, they're all answer the internet, but they all start with would you rather.
Yeah,
That's
him
funny.
and he likes to know about money.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you rather go back to being 18 years old, knowing everything you know now, or get $1 million?
That $1 million.
I stuck with the theme today. So yeah, go back to being 18 years old with what you know now. Had I known then what I know now, I've said this before,
Yeah.
which is perfect too because
No regrets.
it doesn't say anything about having to go into the past.
No regrets.
So what? I just automatically am 18
Is that
now.
zero?
Yeah, you're 18
regrets?
and you know everything that you've collected.
I'm
at
gonna
this
be
point.
18 and know everything I know now.
Really?
I had hair. I have a lot more knowledge now. I'm a much better person than I was at 18 years old.
I've already got one for $1 million.
Yeah.
I already
Dave
made $1 million
Baker-
as a golfer. I don't need to make another $1 million. I'm good.
What?
Dave Baker.
They
So
say you
know
need
what?
about $2 million to retire comfortably these
All right.
days.
I
I'll
would
be
take
18. I can still work.
I would take $1 million, and this is why. Seasons of life. I don't want to relive those seasons of my life. I just don't.
That's just the thing, though.
They were
You've
fun.
already lived those seasons of your life. You just get to physically go back to being 18 years old.
knowing what I know now, but then
Yeah.
I have to relive those seasons of my life.
You don't have to relive in the same way. Do it
Yeah.
better.
I've already
don't have to
made all the
relive it, but I
mistakes.
do.
See, I've already made all the mistakes. I've already gone through all that. I've already had all the rough,
I'd be
hits on
18
the chin
again.
in life.
18.
I would have to get married over again, have kids over again.
No, it's not going back in the past. It's just you suddenly being 18.
No.
Let's reread it. Reread
That
it.
tells me that I would go back to being 18. When I was 18, I was literally in the military. So I'd be in the military again without family and children.
But you would know that guy's going to hurt you on the wall, and you would hurt him first. Or you wouldn't go behind him.
And then I'd be in prison. All right. And so I would totally ruin it.
Or you would have had a lifelong career as a frogman, and you wouldn't have ever
Yeah,
gotten
could've been a
married,
seal.
and wouldn't have had kids.
Who knows?
And I would have died in.
If we're going on, if we're going
I
on,
would have died.
if we're going
Everything
off
happened
that
for a
logic,
reason. I got hurt for a reason, probably. And
if we're going off the logic
whole
that you are
story
going
happens.
back in
$1
time,
million, bro.
then yeah. If it was going back in time and to do it all over again, hands down, I would take the $1 million.
I'm taking
If
$1
I
million.
just suddenly right now became 18 again in the same time period, in the same frame of my life, in the same experiences and all that, knowing what I knew then, I'd totally go back to being 18.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
Lots of things I'd do over physically.
well, not that I would necessarily, because you can't have regrets, but it's just a matter of I could at this point, and I'd have more knowledge, and I'd probably be in a better position to do better. At 18,
utilize it better,
I lost
yep.
my faith. I mean, it was a terrible time, and I went to college. I'd probably be like, don't go to college. You don't need to do that. Start working. You have some confidence. That'll help. There's all sorts of other stuff.
You wouldn't burn your car down.
I wouldn't burn my car down. Stop smoking cigarettes.
I think you got a couple good ones there, like Darth Skywalker's would pay not to go back to being 18.
Exactly.
I mean, okay, again, if we're working out the logic that you would go back to, if you went back in time and all that, and you were suddenly back in that frame of your life, absolutely, yeah, I would never want to go back to being 18. It was an okay time in my life. I didn't have a horrible, latter teens of my life or whatever, but I would definitely not want to go back to that awkwardness again and all that. But I mean, if I could just suddenly be 18 again with who I am now, then oh yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
It would be
I mean,
weird.
yes,
Everybody's
life
like,
would be a
"Who's
lot
your
longer."
buddy?" I'm like, "Oh,
Right.
that's SureShot."
Yeah, his beard's not as big.
He just took this weird thing where
Yeah.
he got to be 18 again.
The snake oil salesman came out of nowhere. I mean, who even has those these days? He was in a wagon, and he thought it was on the legit and the up and up, and he drank some of the poison. And what do you know?
He's 18. I got a mansion. I don't know. It was a weird thing. But
A mansion for $1 million?
it's what we did. Yeah.
Really nice tiny home.
Yeah.
No.
No, around here, yeah, you could get into a mansion for
I get that
$1-ish
fortress on
million,
top of that
yeah.
mountain that guy's got.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I'd take
a couple
that.
of different
I
little.
mean,
nice peaks
it'd be a
around here.
conservative mansion, but
Yeah,
it'd
for
be a
sure.
mansion.
What do they call those, mini mansions?
Yeah, there's a lot of little nice
I still have to be able to
houses
pay
on
the
ridges.
utilities, you guys. So
Exactly.
it can't be like, like super mansion.
Yeah, I'd buy the $500,000 house and then spend the $500,000 keeping it up and keeping the utilities on.
Sorry, I did on purpose.
It's like a drum set. Every time you hit that, it yes, totally goes through.
Every time you do that, it rattles my
I
eardrums.
just gotta sit like this.
I know. Sit on your hands.
Sorry, this is why I didn't do well in school.
Yes.
and then
yes.
fart and then air biscuit me.
But at least
And
I
I'm
would have
like,
to go to school because I'd be like, "Don't go to college again." It was a complete waste of time.
I guess some
All right.
comments here I wasn't paying attention to.
Yeah, they're just chatting about going back and stuff.
Jeez.
There's no going back.
can't
There's
go
no
back.
coming
Give you the
back.
cards.
Yeah.
We can toss them up there.
Ain't gonna be no rematch.
So, story time comes out of this week, but also goes back 2 decades. I have kind of a story that's it's through my lens, my filter, right? So, everybody that's out there, you get to take it through your lens, your filter. So, I can't remove my
Just suck it up and deal.
yeah, I can't remove it. I can't remove my filter or how I see life. So I'm going to tell the story, and you guys can put it through your filter. You can put it through happenstance filter. You can put it through the universe filter. You can put it through the God filter. You can put it through whatever filter you have or you like. I'm going to put it through my filter, and it's just how the story comes out. Okay, so that's just the way it is. Yeah.
Deal with it.
Keyboard, the planet eater. What is up, brother? Just in time for story time. So, about 20 years ago, I had a Camaro, and I just recently purchased a Camaro just a couple of days ago. And so if you follow me on Twitter and you want to see pictures or whatever, you can go on Twitter and check it out. That's not really what the story is about, but a lot of people wanted to know, why did you buy a 50th anniversary Camaro? Why did you get that specific car? Why, what does it have meaning for you and stuff? And why did you get that? Well, the Camaros have a huge kind of history in my family, and it goes back. But I actually, the family story goes back all the way back to when I was born. My mom actually had a 79 Camaro that was bought just shortly after I was born, a 79 Camaro Z28. And for nearly 15 years of my early childhood and early adult life, she had a Z28 Camaro. My brother drove it. I have a bunch of story times that could come out of that. In fact, one of the days I thought I was going to die, my brother was driving it crazily that day. There was a day that he evaded an individual in a gravel parking lot and spit gravel all over some people in that Camaro. I mean, I've got lots of stories that go back with my bro and that. But it was a huge part of my life, that Camaro, and a lot of stories and story times come out of that. That car eventually kind of got retired, so to speak. The transmission went out, some other stuff. But when I became an adult, I ended up getting Camaros 95 and 96. I have some story times that come out of those. In fact, my first one I totaled going over 100. I drove it right through a Ford F-350, survived. That's a story time. But anyway, I totaled it. I ended up buying another one, and I had that one. The story time's interesting though, because I basically hung up my hat on Camaros and basically said, I'm going to wait, like 20 years. And then when the time is right, I'll come back to owning Camaros. And the time is right. And this week I bought the 50th anniversary Camaro, and that's why I bought it. But the story as to when I hung up my hat for the Camaro is kind of an interesting one. And like I said, you're going to look at life through your filter, but you either have a God filter, a happenstance filter, the universe does this type thing filter, whatever your filter is, you can have that. I'm just going to tell the story through my filter, and then you guys can figure it out for yourselves. But it's a really interesting story. So I had a 96 Camaro Z28. I actually had over $12,000 worth of mods. This thing was very tricked out, very, very fast. It was all naturally aspirated. There was no turbo, no supercharger, and no NOS. So all natural aspiration, but it could go sub 13-second quarter miles. For an old 96 Z28, that's actually very, very good. That's like, Corvette speeds. For street tires on the street, that's actually phenomenal. So really, really great for natural aspiration V8. Super fun vehicle. Had a really good time with it, but met my now wife my wife, but at the time she was just my girlfriend, and I was trying to get her to commit to, marry me. And at the time, I had a house I was renting, and I had a roommate. He was a buddy of mine, and we were living together. And I had a garage, had my Camaro in the garage, and then I had a bunch of weights, and I had a weight room because I was renting the house, and then he was a roommate of mine, kind of thing. So he was in one of the rooms, and I had two of the rooms. So I had my bedroom, and then I had the spare bedroom, and the spare bedroom was my weight room. And then I had, the Camaro in the garage. And then I was dating my wife, and she would come over. Well, she was, has a previous marriage. She got married out of high school with her high school sweetheart. They had 2 children, married for 5 years, got a divorce because he couldn't keep his rocket in his pocket, and decided to have a relationship with her best friend. And that's how that situation played out. So I met her, and she had a 1 and a 3-year-old. That is when I entered into the situation. Well, I love my, at the time, girlfriend and her 2 children, the 1 and the 3-year-old, and I wanted to be a part of their life, or at least that's what I was saying with my words, right? That's what we often do in our lives. We say one thing, but our actions often don't line up with our words. We say, I want to be this person, but then our actions say we are this person. And so I was saying, hey, I want to be your husband, but my actions weren't actually saying I, want to be your husband. And so I was having a conversation with God, and I was saying, hey, how come she won't commit to being married to me and all of that? And I started arguing with God. Well, you're arguing with God when you're arguing with yourself. You don't argue with yourself. Because you can give way to your own desires. But he said, your words say you want to commit to her, but your actions say you care more about your car than you do her kids, because you've got your weights in the spare bedroom where you could make a kid's room up for them, and they could actually have a bedroom, because these kids, these poor things, are coming out to your house, and they're hanging out until late at night, and they're literally just passing out on the couch or the floor. You're not making them a priority. If you really cared about them, you would make them a priority over even a per se car. So I was like, okay, I'm arguing. Obviously this is, not me that I'm arguing with. So I said, okay, so what am I supposed to do? And I was prompted to take the weights, put them in the garage. And I'm like, well, then my car has to go outside. I can't put my Camaro out in the, the wilds of the outside.
Kick it out of the house.
And he said, yes, you're actually going to put the wilds, the car out in the wild. And actually, when you do that, I'm going to line up a buyer, and someone's going to buy your car. And I said, I can't get rid of the car. It's my dream car. I love my car. And he said, it's a season. It's a season. You're going to get rid of this car, and when the time is right, we're going to replace it. But for now, if you really care about her and you want to get married to her and you want to be a father to these 2 children, you're going to make them a priority, and your actions are going to align with your words, or you're not a man of your word. And so I said, okay. So I moved my Camaro outside of the garage, moved my weights into the garage. I was obedient, and I went to bed. I woke up in the morning to a knock on my door. Knock, 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 knock. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Like, what the heck? I stayed up late.
Go away.
I stayed up late playing Halo, on the Xbox with my buddy. And I know, right? We were up super late, and I was like, nobody's supposed to be here. And I went up to the door and opened the door, and there was a kind of a heavier set Hispanic lady. And she's like, hi. And I'm like, hi. And she's like, I noticed yesterday you parked this car out here. And I said, yes. She said, I ironically was driving by yesterday, saw it, and I went to the bank this morning and pulled out money, and I want to buy it for my son. He's been looking for something like this his whole life. He's young. He's always wanted, I know his whole life. He's always wanted something like this, and I want to buy it cash. Can I please purchase this car for my son? This was literally the day after when I had this conversation with, you could say it's the universe, you could say it was happenstance, but I was having that conversation in my head with what I believe to be God about this whole situation. And he said, I'll give you a buyer and we'll get rid of the car, and you're going to be a man of your word, and you're going to take care of this future wife of yours and children of yours. If you want to be a man, and you'll get married, but you've got to be, your actions have to align with your words. And
it's
so,
an answer to your question, but it's also a test.
And so I had to, in that time frame, decide, was I going to get rid of my car? And I did. I actually sold it to that lady that day as a form of like faith. And I sold that car. That was 19 and a half years ago, little over 19 and a half years ago. got rid of my car, and I've been very faithful to Connie and the kids ever since, to be responsible and to be pragmatic with money and responsibilities and take care of these children and raised. And the two kids are now almost 21 and almost 23, raised up and everything. And so it's the season, the 2 decades has passed, and it was time. And this car had popped up, and it was an opportunity where I had sold a house, had some money, and I got a really, really good deal on it. And it was a 50th anniversary, and it was like the right time, the right money, the right opportunity. And it was like, that's the vehicle. There you go. This is your reward for being faithful and making your actions line up with your words. So what's the whole like moralistic story on this whole thing? And it's really bottom line. It's not even religious. It's bottom line. Be a man of action that lines up with how you believe. Don't say something, do something. Be a man of intent. Don't just say, I believe X, Y, or Z. Actually be a man that does X, Y, or Z. Be a man that's known by what you do, not by what you say. People can say anything. Be what you want to be by what you actually say. I know so many people that they talk a big talk. They say what they want to do all the time, but they never actually perform the necessary functions to get where they want to go or be.
Wife?
Yeah, or go or be what they
Should be,
want to
man.
be. So that's kind of the thing, you know what I mean? So that's the whole story to this whole thing, is just, regardless of belief system, just be a man that's a man of action in life. Be what you want to be, but let yourself be known by your actions and not by your words, because your actions will represent who you are. So I appreciate everybody coming on. SureShot.
I appreciate it as always, and be sure to keep your pocket consensually, or your rocket consensually in your pocket.
Yeah, be sure to keep your rocket consensually in your pocket.
Man. Yeah, I got nothing to say to that.
Thank you for being on, brother. And as always, I appreciate y'all coming on. It was super fun, as always. Thanks everybody for jumping on, and really appreciate you guys. Love having story time. Make sure you guys catch us as always. And as always, you all keep your gaming on. Warrior, SureShot, and Artisan K out.